Hello, beautiful mommies, and welcome back to another Mommy Moment. I'm your host, Isabel Bridges, and today I'm going to call you back into alignment with your truth. To separate from the lie that as moms, we need to be selfless in order to be good. From the lie that doing anything for ourselves is selfish. That we're meant to follow the rules that patriarchy has made for us, that we aren't fulfilling our obligations if we aren't giving everyone what they want. It's all a lie, okay? So I want you to just to wipe that slate clean for a minute, okay? I want you to imagine that you can start over from the very beginning with a clean slate, right? Imagine that all that you had are the people that you love, and everything else was a clean slate. I want you to imagine that you have the opportunity to completely start over. What would you do if you had no friends, if you had no career that you had built, if you didn't have the home you live in, if you had no extended family, if you had nothing? What would you do? What would you create for yourself with a blank slate? So you can either pause this video now and bring out your journal and write about what's coming up for you, or I welcome you to wait until the end of this video. But either way, this is a powerful exercise. I want you to ask yourself, what would be the craziest, most awesome life that you could possibly imagine? And what would be the most courageous thing that you could do for yourself? Something that would make people say, that's insane, right? But go for it, right? What the F, go for it anyway. I'm gonna do what I want with my life, no matter what anyone else thinks. So this is your life. Why would you do anything but completely enjoy it, right? Because if we are destroyed, and if we are distraught, and if we are unhappy, we are no good to anyone else, okay? And I have personally gotten so clear on how I lost myself in early motherhood. I lost myself as a human being, as someone who had her own desires and passions. And I have a vulnerable share here, so I'm just going to take a breath. There are still ways that I show up that I'm not proud of, right? Little patterns, little ways of being in the world, little habits that I have that I use to keep myself small. And the visual that I have is that I'm living inside a plastic bag, and the plastic bag is tied shut. And it's all around me, and it helps keep me safe. It keeps me looking normal, semi-normal, right? It keeps me appearing to have a normal life. It keeps me from hurting people's feelings, from appearing too big or too shiny or too bright. And I've been practicing these habits for a long time. But I'm committed to step outside of the plastic bag. I'm committed to show you who's on the inside. So I ask you, what is inside your plastic bag? Are you willing to show us who you really are? And what would happen if you stepped outside? Would you have a healthier body? Would you make healthier choices? Would you not care so much about what people thought of you? There's this sense of truth that I want us to get to when we step outside of the mask. So I want you to take some time to think about what mask or what plastic bag you're cocooned in or hiding behind. And what would happen if you took the mask off, or if you ripped open that plastic bag? What kind of life would you be able to live? And I want you to write these down. So I want you to write down the crazy, insane, wild, starting over from scratch life that would happen if you didn't live behind your mask anymore. Not the, oh, should I do this? I need to ask my partner, or I need to wait to do this until I quit my job. We're not doing that. We're having a fantasy here, okay? A fantasy on paper. So this should be fun. I want you to enjoy it, feel pleasure as you take about 10 minutes to write down your fantasy life. And you may be able to take longer and write down several fantasy lives. So it'll be something like this. I'm living in Paris and I have everything that I could possibly want. I have everything money could buy. I have jewels, I have a crown, I drink champagne at lunchtime and I eat oysters. I sleep on silk sheets and I have 24-hour childcare for my kids. And I get to play with them at the park during the day or whenever I want. And then when I'm ready for them to go off to school, the nanny takes them to school. The nanny is there at nighttime so I can have date night. Okay, that's the one example of a dream life, right? So let me think of another example. Another example is that I live alone in the woods. And I live there next to an old crone. And every day she brings me soup. And she makes me golden milk, and she massages my feet whenever I want her to, and she teaches me about the earth and how to live on the land. Okay, so that's another life. Here's another one. I live with my family on our ranch in Montana, and we ride horses wherever we go, and my kids and I meditate for 3 hours a day, and our family and friends come to visit us. And I am writing a book about how to be an empowered woman. So, okay, so these are a few examples of my personal dream lives. So the invitation is for you to really think about the dream life that you could have, not the one that you're actually determined or committed to having. But this is just an opportunity to go into our imaginations and to have fun. And to put it on paper so that we can then take out pieces and infuse our life with those parts. And then I want you to write the safe version of your dream. So maybe that's, I work on my job for 6 more months. I save up money. And then I use that money to pursue my dream of starting a new business. So that might be a safe version of your dream. And then maybe you want to write a version of a life that feels really hard and yucky. So what would your life look like if you did nothing? If you stayed stuck in the fear? If you didn't course correct? What would your life look like if you continued to live the way you're living now? Or maybe if you fell back into old patterns and old habits, what would your relationship look like? Maybe your relationship isn't going so well, or maybe it's going downhill. So what would your life look like if you didn't do anything to change that relationship's course? Maybe you're feeling distant from your kids. Or maybe you fear losing your job, or maybe you have an unhealthy lifestyle and you're taking some serious medication. And maybe you're afraid that something really bad could happen if you don't change course. So I want you to write down the yucky life that could happen if you didn't make a change. Okay, so there are these 3 scenarios, right? The crazy, oh my God, amazing life scenario. That's 1. The second is the safe scenario. That's 2. And then the third, if I do nothing, this is how my life will be. That's the third one. Okay? So the other day, it's beautiful here in Oakland, by the way. So my kids and I have been hiking a lot. And the other day, we were hiking in the mountains. And there was this beautiful vista out in front of us. And I could see the mountains in the distance ahead. And I could see the mountains in the distance behind us. And we were feeling like we were on top of the world. And I had this vision, and I want to share it with you. I had this vision that I'm at a point in my life, right? And if I start walking from this point, if I start walking down the path, I will eventually get to that mountain. But if I change the trajectory just 6 inches, I'll eventually end up on that mountain, the wrong mountain, not the mountain that I'm intending on. So this is why course correcting is so important, because if we're walking towards our dream, if we see a shiny object, even if we go 6 inches off of our path, that will be 600 miles down the road, right? In the distance, the space between our dream and where we want to be and where we are grows. So that is why we course correct, right? And so it's so important that we connect with the truth of who we are, of our dream. And it's only by staying aligned with that dream that we get there. So I'm not asking you to move. I'm not actually asking you today to move in the direction of your dream. I'm asking you to get clear on the desires of your heart. And I'm asking you to ask yourself, how does that feel? How would it feel to be on the mountain over there, to be where I want to be? What does it feel like to imagine myself in the, oh my God, amazing life? Just begin to embody what that could feel like. Could I just start to embody it even before I take the next step? What would it feel like to be there? So I have personally started the process of living my, oh my God, amazing life dream. And I feel myself being on this mountain, right? And I'm starting down the path of uncharted territory. And I gotta tell you, mamas, it is scary as you know what, right? Sometimes I would rather jump off the cliff than continue down into the murk, into the places that I don't know, because it's scary to go into the darkness, into the unknown. But I know that I need to do that in order to get on that mountain, right? If I stay in the safety of where I am now, this mountain, I'll continue to get what I've always gotten. And I want more for myself. So what is the vivid dream that you really want, ladies? I want you to get clear on what that vivid dream is. And as I get clear, I'm beginning to take baby steps down the path. And I'm beginning to realize that, yes, this is my path. This is the place that I want to go. It doesn't always feel safe. In fact, it rarely does. It's really scary to be on this path. And it's not perfect, and it's not usually beautiful and shiny and sparkly. But I want to ask you to come with me, not on my path, but on your path, so that you can begin to live a life that is in alignment with your truth. And it takes bravery to do this. So I don't take it lightly that you're afraid. But I really want you to start by writing down these 3 dreams, these 3 dream lives. Your, oh my God, amazing life, the safe version of your life, and the version of your life if you didn't course correct at all. The version of your life if you just kind of stayed where you are. Okay, so what would happen if you asked yourself, what if I really did nothing today? I want, again, this is an important one. So don't skip that last step, okay? How would it feel 10 years down the road if I kept doing what I'm doing today? Okay, so in closing, I want to read something to you. I want to read a fairy tale to you. So I'm just going to pause here for a second. Okay, so I want to read you this fairy tale. And it comes from this book, Fierce Fairy Tales, Poems and Stories. So I'll read it to you now. Once upon a time, Matter dreamed up an idea. It was a small, hopeful dream, a thought with wings of a fairy. But as with all things full of hope, it would be terribly difficult to birth. Several events needed to come together in the millisecond of the time it took to build Earth. A 1 in 20,000 chance of meeting between two beings. An ancestral heritage that goes back 4 million years, all the way back to single-celled organisms. And only then can this idea be so finely crafted into a gift with actual presence. Imagine how much the universe must have loved this thing to make it happen. Imagine how many stars gave up their hearts to bring this into fluid motion. Does it make you curious? Make you wonder what could be so marvelous? That idea was you. You are the universe's fairy tale come true. So after I read this for the first time, I had this vision. I had this vision of billions and billions and billions and billions of souls just waiting to come to Earth. And you are chosen. I am chosen out of these billions and billions and billions and billions of souls. We have been chosen to be here. We were wanted during this time specifically, right? So if you're feeling lost, it's okay. That's part of the journey, right? What if you went back to the billions and billions of souls after you died and they asked you, how did it go? What did you create with your life? What dream did you create? What dream life did you have in store for you? And you looked at them and you said, honestly, I missed it. I didn't do what I was put on earth to do. I forgot, or I didn't care. I didn't think I was worthy. How sad would that be? It would be like, going to Hawaii and just staying inside all day, right? And then you come home and you say, oh, I forgot to go outside. I forgot to swim in the water and lie in the sun. I forgot to swim with the dolphins. I forgot to go scuba diving in the ocean. I just stayed inside. I just drew the curtains. I forgot to try. I forgot to make an effort. What would happen, right? Would you think, wow, I wasted my life? This is your life. This is your vacation in Hawaii. Don't stay inside, okay? Don't stay inside your plastic bag or behind your mask, okay? Come out, even if you're scared. You are so important. Your fullest expression is part of the web that is woven in this universe. We need you. I'm sending you so much love. Thank you for watching. If this felt supportive to you and you know of a woman who has a big dream, who this would also feel supportive of, please share it. This is how we help each other. We truly are in it together. Okay, mamas. Until next time, take care.